artist, Miss Casino here. Today I'm bringing you a new project. It's fun, it's simple, it's wacky. We are going to be finger painting. If you have watercolor, great. If you have regular paint, great. If you don't have any paints at all, you can just use markers, totally fine. We are going to be thinking about the way we can show expressive emotion on a little face in kind of a cartoon style, not realistic. How can we do that with a thin black line? I'm using a Sharpie, and in this video, you can use any waterproof marker you like. And let me just show you some of the little faces I came up with. And keep watching closely, and I'll show you how I painted the color and then waited for that to dry and then added some black detail lines. All right, artist. As you can see, I have gathered my materials. I have a thin Sharpie waterproof black pen. I have another type of waterproof thin black pen. I have my brush for watercoloring, which is assembled like this. A lot of watercolor palettes come with a brush that you can put the end right on it. Here's some watercolor palettes. You can also use liquid watercolors if you have them, or just any type of acrylic paint watered down a little bit so you can mix it. I have a paper towel for wiping my brush and changing colors. I have a cup of water. I also have some markers here to experiment with later. The paper that I'm using is a watercolor white textured paper, a little heavier. You can use any type of white paper that you have, preferably a little thicker, not printer paper, and it can be any size. So I'm going to start off in making my fun expressive faces by doing some skin colors. Now I'm going to try to mix some skin colors. There are endless tones of skin colors, and you can make them out of any shades of brown, orange, beige, yellow, red, pinks, whites. You can mix whatever you like. No one's skin color or tone is the same, so there's no wrong way to do it. And you can even get fun and do some blues and some greens and some pinks. All right, so first I'm going to rinse my brush and get it nice and wet. Then I'm going to take my beige color. This is a little mixing palette that comes with my watercolor palette, but you can use a white plate too, as long as anything that's plastic or ceramic, so it doesn't suck up the water like a paper plate. So then I'm going to mix a little, I think I'm going to put a little yellow in mine there, and I think I want to put a little pink in mine. We'll see what that looks like. And I want it to be like pretty strong. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last time we were watercoloring, I'm going to switch over to this palette too, just to get some different colors. You might see my cat's face in the camera. Don't mind him. He's a little nosy, a little curious about art making. Okay, so let's see here. Now I'm going to start by just making a whole bunch of circles on my palette. Now I don't like how wishy-washy that color is. I want it to be stronger. So I'm putting some more orange and some more yellow and some more beige, less water, more paint. Ooh, that's bright. Okay. Now I can make these any shape of circles or watercolor blobs that I like. All right, let's see. Let's do another one over here. Now I can get darker brown. Maybe over here. Because I really want to have a lot of shapes to experiment with later on. And I can even make some ears in there too, because I know my little people are going to have some ears. I'm going to put some ears here. And I'm going to end up drawing my hair, but you can also paint a little hair on in the beginning if you like. All right. So you'll see, I'm just kind of going back and forth. I'm getting messy. I'm blending my colors all together. I really don't know what colors are going to come out of this, but I really enjoy kind of just experimenting right on the paper. You can mix your colors on your palette, or, you know, a lot of artists just mix right on the paper, especially with watercolor. Now, I wish I had a white, but I don't, because I'm just using some materials that I have at home. As you know, we're remote right now, so I don't have white, so that just means I'll make it a little more washy. You know what, though? I'm going to get a little crazy. I'm going to make a green face. Maybe someone who's, we talked about all different types of emotions if you download the Google Classroom presentation. Maybe someone who's feeling envious, right? Let's see. Or maybe he ate like a bad a bad egg or something, and now he's feeling very green. Okay, now I think I'm gonna make someone who's very hot pink. Let's see, here's another head right here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of pink from this palette too, because it's pretty intense color. Maybe a little peach. Ooh, this is gonna be a crazy looking person. Now, after I make all of my head shapes, you can also experiment with dipping your finger in. See, I got my finger wet. I'm just gonna put my finger right in there. I think I wanna put a little brown on that too. All right, so see how it's on my finger? I could just make a fingerprint. And that could be some of my faces too. I love that. Get my finger really wet. Let's make another fingerprint right here. I don't think there's enough on there, so I'm gonna put some orange on my finger. Oh, that's cool, I like that. And I kind of like how it's splattering because of my nails. Let's make a blue face with a fingerprint. All right, see my finger? Now, don't worry about getting messy. You can always wash your hands later. And just have a towel nearby if you need it. Whoa, I need more paint. The finger paint, you want to have less water and more paint, because if you have too much water on your finger, it just comes out as like a little puddle. Whee! Okay, there we go. So, you've seen me do both. Now I'm wiping my finger on the towel just to dry it off a bit. Now the last thing I'm going to experiment before I let these little heads dry and add my thin black line detail is I'm going to take my markers. These are called Copic markers. They're really nice. They blend well. Okay, you can really use any markers you like, but these happen to be kind of good skin tones, all different types. So I'm going to make some markery oval shaped, put a little ear in there. Some oval shaped heads with these. I love this brown color. Let me make a little brown head here. And also the cool thing about these markers, see how I left a little white? You can mix the colors with this type of marker, the Copic markers. And it kind of blends right on the paper. You see how I'm coloring over and it's blending in? It's really nice. Let's make a little pink face down here. And this type of markers also has 3 sizes, or 2 sizes. A brushy type of end and a kind of rectangle tipped end. Here's a head I'm doing very close to my other head. Maybe too close, but that's okay. Maybe they're best friends and they're just hanging out. Okay, so I'm gonna put the skin tone here. All right, and then maybe I'll add one more really wide head down here. And I'm gonna blend some more colors in with that marker. This is a very light peachish pink. I'm gonna blend that in. See what he looks like. Maybe he has a sharp chin, or it's a girl, or maybe these are just kind of, you can't even tell like who these little people are. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of head shapes to play with. Finger painted heads, brushed heads, and some marker heads to play with. So I'm gonna let these dry, and the next part of this video is gonna show how I add some detail. I would say let it dry for about an hour just to make sure there's no big puddles and your pens don't get ruined from the water. All right. Okay, artists, now my color ovals that I painted, markered, and fingerprinted with paint are almost dry. I'm going to use a black pen. I'm going to try this and a Sharpie to see what the difference is. And I'm going to add some details to my faces. Now I'm going to keep it simple. I want to make sure you guys look at the slide presentation that's uploaded on Google Classroom for some inspiration on different things we can think about that affect a face's emotion when you're drawing it. Let's think about eyeballs, eyebrows. Maybe the brows are down or up for surprise, or down for anger. Let's think about eyelashes. Let's think about lips, ears, nose. Is it a thin mouth that's pressed closed? Is it a open mouth with like a laughter or surprise? What kind of hair does your person have? Curly, straight, bald? Do they have a hat? Do they have a bow tie? Maybe are the cheeks round and full? Is your head looking to the side, or is it looking forward? Let's think about all those things. So I think I'm gonna start with, let's start with this guy down here. Pretty simple. I'm calling him a guy. I'm feeling like he might just have some very well combed hair down to the side here. There we go. And his ears just seem like they're so obviously sticking out to the side, and he has a little chin that comes down. Maybe he has a double chin, right? Because I kind of see almost two lines. Now, I'm not super happy with the way this marker is feeling. I'm going to switch over to the Sharpie. It's totally normal as an artist to try different supplies as you're working. You might like the feel of something or not, and want to switch before you feel like you kind of ruined something. But here, I have so many to work with, it doesn't matter, right? You know, I'm going to make mistakes, and probably those little people are going to come out better than the ones I think are going to be the best. Okay, so I'm going to have this guy. Maybe he hasn't slept for a while. Okay, he has some bags under his eyes and a little nose. And you know what? This double chin looks almost like a mouth to me. So now I'm thinking I might just make him have this mouth with some funny teeth. And maybe he has a bristly little mustache too. And I think he's perfect. Oh, I think he's going to have some eyebrows. He's looking a little worried, a little anxious because he hasn't slept. All right, so now I'm going to move on to over here. Let's see. I actually think I want this person to be looking down, and because I kind of see the shape of a nose and a mouth and a chin, and maybe this person has long flowing hair coming out, tucked behind their ear and coming out, the little ear right there. And sometimes when I draw hair with black lines, I draw more shapes than I draw each individual line of a hair strand. Okay, now I'm going to put a little eye in here. And I kind of feel like this little girl has some cheeks and maybe some bangs sticking out. And that's her neck, and maybe she has a little shirt on like that. And some more hair coming down like this. All right. I might come back to her with some color for her hair later and some color in the cheek. Actually, let me add that now. I'm going to take this pink marker that I have. I'm going to put some color in the cheek just so that makes sense to me later on. And I might go back in with some brown. Some color for the hair. And if you have markers, you can do this, or you can go back in with the paint later, because it's a waterproof pen. That's the cool thing about this. That's why I suggested waterproof pen, because you can go back in and play around with your lines and some color later on. All right. There's my girl. All right. This guy I'm just going to keep simple. Okay, so let's see. How about this little blue creature right here? I kind of feel like he has a mohawk going on. All right, let's do that. All right. Some ears. Maybe he has some earrings hanging down. Maybe he has a bristly beard too, with some mustache and a little simple mouth and two little beady eyes and some nose that come down. This guy is really cool. I like his mohawk. He looks good being blue. I think he's happy like that. So I'm going to continue making my faces, and I can't wait to see yours. Upload them to Google Classroom. Because we're remote this week, I'd love to see your work. Just a quick focused color photo from your phone under the assignments. All right, happy face making, artists. Bye.